Ready? Hey, Andrea.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now we'll take public comments on agenda items. Okay, reports of supervisor and councilman. I would like to read some correspondence from the Dutchess County Stop DWI. They sent me, Dutchess County is participating in statewide Stop DWI holiday season crackdown enforcement. Poughkeepsie, New York. Dutchess County Executive Marcus J. Molinaro announced today police agencies throughout Dutchess County will participate in a special enforcement effort to crack down on impaired driving. During the season, which often includes public gatherings and parties, the law enforcement community across New York State will take to roads in an effort to stop impaired driving, prevent injuries, and save lives. The statewide Stop DWI crackdown efforts start on December 16th and will end on January 2nd. New York State Police, the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, and municipal law enforcement agencies across the state will be out in full force. So please don't drink and drive. At this time, I'd like to appoint Mary Pearson to be my confidential secretary starting December 1st. She's worked with me for 2 hours now, kind of an interim basis, and she's helping me clean out all the files in my office and put them where they belong in the clerk's office and do a couple things like that. Next, I want to touch on a concern from Councilman Frazier from the last meeting. The concern was whether or not the highway superintendent needed town board approval to purchase a truck or any piece of equipment for highway. I'm bringing this up once again because Mr. Frazier had doubts, and I don't want this sort of thing to ever happen again.
Thank you.
Okay, I got this right out of the highway law book, and it says, all purchases of equipment, tools, and other implements by town superintendent must be approved by town board. Machinery, tools, implements, gravel, stone, and snow fence may not be purchased without approval of town board. The town superintendent of highways must obtain the approval of the town board in order to purchase a new tire for a town truck. Town superintendent may not, without consent of the town board, purchase equipment, tools, and other implements. Approval of the town board must be secured for purchase of highway machinery by town superintendent. A town superintendent may not purchase equipment to be used in town highway garage without the approval of town board. So I'm hoping this closes out.
Well, I thought we
Any
had closed this
concerns?
out last month.
I thought we closed it out when we approved the truck, and then at the last meeting, you had concerns about it, so I just wanted to lay your concerns to rest. Okay, the last thing I want to discuss is the banks we use. Our town clerk and our bookkeeper are running up to Millbrook, which is 13.9 miles. It takes about 20 minutes to get there and 20 minutes back. When we also use Tompkins Bank, 9.3 miles, that's 15 minutes each way. And we have Key Bank, which is 3 miles away and about 6 minutes to get there. So I think that we should allow the town clerk and the bookkeeper and any other entity to switch to Key Bank if that is what they desire to do. I mean, there's wear and tear on their vehicles, there's mileage we have to pay, and of course the hours that we pay them to go. So I think we're going to add Key Bank to our list of banks at the reorganizational meeting. And
Yes, that's a great idea.
I mean, Millbrook Bank has been wonderful. They really have. It's a great bank. We have no problem with them, but I just think that it's a waste of time, money, mileage.
Sure.
And when there's a bank 3 miles from here
Mhm.
that can serve us in the same way. So that's really all I have. John, do you have anything?
I just wanted to say I've been doing a little research into the situation we have with the dam and the pond at the park. And it looks like the federal government is gearing up to, there's never been grant money, but the federal government is in the process of, it's in Congress now, a bill to approve a lot of money for grant money for municipalities like ours to get some help dealing with the dam problem. So I think if we're a little patient, this hopefully will get done in the next 2 or 3 months, and then we can find out what might be available for us. But it's a step in the right direction. Hopefully it'll be something we can take advantage of in the near future.
Right, and I know Jake's been keeping up on all that stuff too, so if you and him can.
Okay.
Karina, do you have anything?
No.
Dave?
No, I was just talking with Dave Bennis, who's here, and he's gonna make a little presentation afterwards. I was also talking to the solar boy, Jason Lieberman. I'll bring, I'll forward that stuff over to the town board. I did forward over all the information that I had that Mr. Bennis had given me to everybody, so that hopefully you had an opportunity to look at it. Other than that, I did get we all probably got an email from George Cole today asking us to remind people to clean their chimneys and have them inspected this time of year. I guess there have been a few chimney fires, right, John, this year?
Not in Unionville,
Not
but in other
Unionville,
areas,
but in
yeah.
other areas,
But,
yeah.
this is the first real cold weather, so
Right.
we're
Start now.
we're at
Yeah.
risk now for having them.
So please check your chimneys. That's all I got.
Steve?
I have nothing.
Okay, we'll go for reports. Recycling?
Thank you for letting me go first. My daughter has a concert right now. So, Owen, you want to come up? Oh.
You don't want to help your
That
father?
was a fast answer.
So, when Owen was a little younger, he'd come up and do tip of the month.
Yeah, I remember.
Right, yeah, but he doesn't want to do that anymore.
He's grown out of it.
Yes. But I thought a tip of the month could be to recycle your wrapping paper this year. It can be done, it should be done. It recycles. You can put it into a cardboard box or a paper bag or something, bring it to the recycling center and throw it down the recycling chute. So a couple housekeeping things. The transfer station will be closed on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. Permits are for sale. They've been on sale for a few weeks. I want to thank Andrea for ordering the stickers. This is the Unionvale sticker this year, and this is the non-resident sticker. As always, if you like the colors, Andrea picked them out. If you don't like them, I picked them out. Residents and non-residents must have a new permit by January 15th. So I have a bunch of things cooking up there. One is the whole idea of putting a solar field on the landfill. Ryan and I traveled to Clarkstown, which is in Rockland County, on October 4th. There was a long presentation by their town supervisor about the project that they completed that's up and running. Just to give you a quick idea, their solar field covers 13 acres. It's 8,800 solar panels. It generates 2.4 megawatts of electricity. So over 30 years, they're going to save $4.6 million. And they didn't pay anything out of pocket, not a penny. So ours could be up to 4 acres, generating 700 kilowatts, which is pretty substantial. I don't know, so this whole thing is a giant jigsaw puzzle. It's going to take a lot of time and effort to put it together. There's a lot of ins and a lot of outs, a lot of different ways of doing it. And I don't really know where to start. I talked to NYSERDA this week. That seems to be the place to start. So I'm just, as I learn.
I got all the information from them. I'll be happy to sit down and talk with you.
All right, they're hooking me up one-on-one with somebody from the PV training network. So I should have more information on how to get the ball rolling. The first people to talk to are NYSERDA, the DEC, and Central Hudson. But then it's just a matter of pulling all this together. It's going to take, typically it'll take close to 2 years for this type of project to get underway. A residential application is like 3 to 6 months, but this is, definitely more involved. I have a ton of information already. I probably shouldn't spew it all out right now and confuse things. But, I mean, basically, do you guys think that this is, a project that we should move on? Do you think it's good for the town, good for the community? Is this something that we should pursue?
I think it's definitely something we should look forward to.
Okay.
And that example you gave, they're saving millions of dollars with no out-of-pocket cost. I mean,
Right.
it doesn't get much better than that.
And there's nothing else you can do with that parcel of land anyway.
No, it's landfills, it's brownfields. I mean, that's what they're looking to do. If we built it ourselves, hired a contractor and built it, and this is from the EPA who estimated that our project would cost $1.6 million. Then we would keep all the electricity, basically. So to do it with a third party, assuming all the costs of it, you have to enter into a power purchase agreement, and that, so we'd get credit for some of the electricity that we produce to go against some of the meters that we have in town. It's called remote net metering. It makes it legal, I guess, to do that sort of thing. So that's probably, obviously, what we would be more interested in. But again, I'll just keep coming back with more information as I learn it. Okay, moving on. In October, I applied for an electronic waste assistant grant through the DEC. They already contacted me back and said they accepted the request. It's $745, and that's just to help with the costs of electronics recycling that none of the towns were aware that we were gonna incur that fee, right? So, and there might be more of that grant money for next year. So, also through the DEC, and this is a little bit bigger than the $745, is that we got a call 2 weeks ago from DEC to say that there's money available to help pay for the landfill cap extension that the town did. Starting in 2007, this process began. Most of the construction was in 2012. I believe it got closed out in 2015. Anyway, they are going to reimburse us up to 50% of what we spent on that project, which was $973,000.
That's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, this guy found an application from 2007 and said it's still, current, still active. The money's there now. I think the money went away for a while, perhaps when the economy tanked.
It did, yeah.
But the money's back.
Great.
So the construction itself was $665,000. He assured us that we would get half of that, without question. And then the other $308,000, we're not going to get all of it, but we'll get some of it. Legal fees, if it has to do with bonding, yes, we'll get that back. A lot of the engineering we'll get back. So we're looking, it's a fairly substantial chunk of money. There are 205 checks, hopefully in there somewhere, associated with that $973,000. We have to find them all. So I'm going to need some help, but I'm going to start next week, and obviously this has to happen. So we're
Right,
gonna
definitely. Yeah.
pull all this together. The money could be available as early as this summer. So
Excellent.
we're gonna work on that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Parks?
So I don't have anything as exciting as Tom. We
You're
had,
not finding money?
yeah, no, not right now. We spent a lot of time prepping the house at Chimney Park, get that ready for move-in. The ice rink frames are up. We will be getting the tarps in them hopefully this coming week,
get some water in them. There are going to be some changes with that we've had to do because of NYMER. They came down, walked the park with us, and we talked to them a lot about that. And so there'll be some new signage up and stuff like that. So there will be some changes. But once we get them up and going, we'll go over that. We worked on the lights. Dinner with Santa went very well. People were happy. Yeah, it's been pretty much just kind of keeping things going and getting things prepped. So I will see
Very
everybody
good.
next year.
Thank you.
Rick?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Short and sweet. We've been really busy working on some things for next year. We have a new registration site, a little portal, if you will, that will open in January. You can start creating your households. Summer camp registration will begin February 1st. As soon as we know the exact link, when it is open for residents and guests, you can follow us on social media and we will shout it from the rooftops that it is available to access. One of the exciting things is that we will accept credit card payments because I know registering for summer camp is a nice little chunk that's kind of easy to put on your credit card, and it makes things easy to do from home as well, so it's pretty convenient. Again, we've been really busy with that 2017 programming, creating our calendar, looking ahead. I'm kind of already in 2018 in my mind, so all is good. Attached on this piece of paper, you will see just a debriefing of the 2016 at a glance after school program info with average participants and where we stand with our goal revenue for the year. And on the other side, there's some TGTT data. Again, those are our days off that we do summer camp, camp programming when school is out. The kids definitely enjoy that. And lastly, thank you to all the residents who have been communicating with us via phone calls, stopping in, emails, social media. Please continue that. Our door is always open, and happy holidays.
Thanks, Jess. Dog control?
Okay, during November, there were 3 lost dogs and 3 found dogs, 1 taken to SPCA, which was later claimed by its owner, and 1 complaint.
Bookkeeper?
Do you have the planning board report? Could I borrow it from you? Thank you.
Oh, so for the month of November, the A-Fund revenues were $86,555.59. The A-Fund expenditures were $199,005.19. There was no D-Fund revenue, and the D-Fund expenditures were $96,578.47. I'll be meeting with different departments over the next couple weeks, just in preparing for quite a number of the budget numbers changing, so that the vouchers are have the correct budget numbers on them for 2017. So, and this signatures, and this needs your signature afterwards. Thank you.
Very good.
Highway?
Okay, for the month of November and December, we paved Meadow Ridge, blacktop driveway aprons on Meadow Ridge. Cleaned up down trees and brush from the first snowstorm. Filled potholes in Burbank Club Road. Installed road close signs on West Clove Mountain Road. Replaced old Meadow Ridge signs. Installed new stop sign at Burbank Village and Milewood intersection. Put the stop sign up at West Clove Mountain Road. I guess somebody would want to run it over. Took the dump body off of truck 3, put the sander on it. Fixed the 4-wheel drive on truck 2, removed and replaced the air valves in trucks 2 and 3, put the wings on the trucks, installed the sander in truck 10, bought the Freightliner to Campbell Freightliner for some warranty work, installed sander lights and had a radio installed in a new Dodge, burnt some of the brush pile, and we got salt delivered from Dutchess County and pushed that up. For the Meadow Ridge, the final price on Meadow Ridge for the pipe, the basins, the item 4, the blacktop, and the machinery rental is $160,000. That's $45,000 under budget without the $25,000 budget buffer. If there was any question on why it took so long, it was mainly because of the underground utilities. This is for the Meadow Ridge job. The underground utilities, 95% of the electric, cable, and phone lines were installed directly over top of the culvert pipes. It was a slow process to find them with the excavator without doing damage, then hand digging around a lot of it. The guys made up a system to secure the wires from the pipe insulation by ropes and digging bars. We also had several miscellaneous repairs and small jobs throughout the rest of the town, and on top of that, we were hit with some thunderstorms. Any questions? No? Okay.
Thanks, good job on Meadow Ridge.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for
Town
keeping
clerk?
it under budget.
No problem.
Okay. Conservation license, $569 was collected. Certified copies, $170. Marriage license, $40. Recreation programs, $1,866.20. After school program, $4,034. Equestrian center, $20. Facility rental, $60. The recycling center compactor fees were $6,321.88. Refuse bin was $380, and dog licenses was $270. So after the fees were paid, $13,136.42 was limited to supervisor.
Zoning,
Okay, zoning board for the month of November. For legal notices, certified letters from Robert Rutledge, $97.56. Also for legal notices and certified letters from Clove Valley Stock Farm, $64.02. And another legal notice and certified letters from Thomas Plass for $81.60. Total receipts for the month of November, $243.18.
planning,
Planning, we received payment in the escrow for a deposit by Clove Valley Baker Property of $3,750. We also received site plan fee from Janet Prince of $250 for a total receipt in November of $4,000. Thank you.
code enforcement,
For the month of November, this is submitted by George Kolb. Liz Axelson, our new planner, has attended her first planning board meeting and has been conversing with my office on all issues concerning applications. Based on information from the past several MS4 meetings, it appears that several unfunded mandates will be coming down from the EPA through the DEC for items that will need to be implemented in the 2017 annual report and inspection format. As previously discussed, the town board should consider repairing the town constable code enforcement vehicle that was damaged several months ago. Please inform me of the status for repair of the vehicle. Inspections performed, 73, violation notices issued were 6, building permits issues were 15, old CO permits issued, old permit COs 18, municipal searches 4, complaints received 7, violation abated 5, resident meetings 18, certified occupancy compliance 23, complaints acted on 7, appearance tickets issued 2, fire callouts 1, plan review hours are 16. Income verifications to be provided by bookkeeper. Municipal abstract search income will need to be submitted by bookkeeper due to illness of Ms. Sunnison. Please feel free to contact me with any questions.
Does anybody know anything about this damage to the
I do not.
constable vehicle? I never heard anything,
I
I
do
saw
not.
any report.
yes.
Yeah, it was in one of the constable reports.
I've never gotten a
They hit it.
constable report.
Me neither.
Well, they've been turned in, and actually, I was giving them, I was printing them up for everybody for a while.
I never got it.
Oh, they were printed up, I didn't know they were put in
What
the
is the
boxes.
damage to the vehicle?
He hit a rock at the highway garage when he
Yeah,
went
and
around the building or something, and
It's a mud flap,
it's not a mud flap.
not a mud flap, okay.
It's that plastic piece
The
under
rocker
the
cover?
bumper.
Yeah.
And George did get a quote from Precision, I think.
Yeah.
And it was like $1,400 worth of damage. So I don't, at this point, know if we can go through insurance, because it happened before we switched to NYMER. Besides, I think we would have to pay $1,000 deductible.
Well, I think we ought to do that
So I
before we
think-
close out 2016, that way,
Okay.
comes out of these funds.
We're gonna get it repaired. I will. I don't know, does he
I
have to
think we'll have to
go?
have a second quote on that number.
All right, I'll have George get a second quote.
Can he spearhead that, or getting the thing repaired then, or?
George can get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put that in the form of a motion that we move
I'll
forward
second
with
it.
this repair.
I'll second it.
After he gets a second quote.
Right.
Okay. George will take care of that.
Do we have another meeting before the end of the year?
No, unless you have a
No.
special one.
On Christmas.
And get
Well,
repaired.
we can encumber funds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do that. Media?
So we're still working with Cablevision to get a hold of this new transmitter. It's now on them. We're waiting for Dan Ahouse to get back to me about whether they're going to be providing one or if we have to purchase it. If they say that we have to purchase it, I'm going to say we buy it from someone other than Cablevision just to get it in and not have to deal with them, and they're probably going to put the price anyway. Otherwise, the stream going to YouTube has been flawless. The download to replay on the town channel has been working well. Only thing I want to say is if there's an issue with the stream or if there's an issue with the broadcast at whatever hour, tell someone, because I've been going in, check every so often, and either the stream's dead, there's something happened with the computer, which is something else I'm working on with the current IT to get resolved. Tell someone, because we're getting complaints that it's not working. People are complaining to me 3-4 days later, and I don't know because I'm not within the city limits to get the broadcast. Outside of that, everything's working well. Looking at the budget for next year for replacing that computer and getting some other equipment. We're gonna wait till next year to get that done, though.
Okay.
All right.
Now we have a 10-minute presentation by David Bennis.
It won't be 10 minutes. So I'll keep it easy. Wow. My name is David Bennis. I'm with Blue Rock Energy, so I'm a wholesale energy advisor handling Albany South into the 5 boroughs. So I'm working with Dave right now, trying to look at some of the energy needs for the town. I think you guys, your commodity is currently with Viridian at 2 different rates. So I don't have any specific pricing recommendations for you because when looking at all the usage and the historical usage for the town, you guys are not in a position where cookie cutter pricing from a sheet is going to benefit you guys. Your pricing and usage is very customized. You have a lot of accounts that use power only in the winter and it drops to almost nothing in the summer. You have the pool account that uses all the power in the summer and uses nothing. So if you're paying $8.99 with Viridian for 12 months or whatever it may be, in January, you're just paying a premium for nothing. And over a 12-month or a 24-month period, you're just gonna wind up paying more. Now, with that being said, there's really nothing we can do with that because you're already involved with that and there's just so much we can switch. But going forward, I'm trying to put it together a pricing strategy that will work for you guys with some energy initiatives. One being solar. I forgot that gentleman's name, but he mentioned that yeah, it would generate 700,000 kilowatt hours. So just so you know, you guys average about 150,000 kilowatt hours a year. So that would be revenue generation for you, which is great. Your ROI would be real fast. And doing it on 4 acres will probably be an 18-month job. Dutchess County right now, I'm advising them, we're putting one in Dutchess County Airport. Mr. Coughlin and Molinaro, I mean, they're pretty much, they don't get as many benefits as, let's say, a town will get from NYSERDA and through Central Hudson. But that'll be going up next year for Dutchess County. So really what I'm asking with Dave is to kind of go forward and find that right strategy for you guys. For most of the accounts, it's probably going to be a 3-4 month pricing strategy because that's where the heaviest of your load is, and that's where your biggest savings and protection opportunity is for pricing. Right now, you have two different prices. I think it's $7.99 and $8.99 on, I think, probably about 11 or 12 accounts. And that's easily anywhere from a penny and a half to 2.5 pennies higher than Central Hudson has been in the last 2 years. So there's a lot of room. It just has to be customized to how you guys use power and when you guys use power. And the same thing is, it's gonna be different for Town of Beekman. It's gonna be different for Daily Planet. So you guys are in a position to take advantage of that. As an advisor, I just throw things out there that I can work with Dave. I'm not paid anything. I don't think necessarily all your accounts need to be with a supplier. You have maybe 3 or 4 accounts that the usage is minimum. And I would recommend, if you are not in a contract with Veridian, taking those accounts, and I can highlight that to Dave and sending them back to Central Hudson.
We are no longer in account with Veridian. We did not
Right.
sign on. I think we
We're
were
free
supposed to-
agents right now.
Yeah.
You're free agents, but they're still your supplier.
Right.
The only way you go back to Central Hudson is if you tell Central Hudson, I'm gonna go back to you guys as a supplier. So, that's something you guys definitely need to think about. But right now, even though your contract on the fixed rate with Veridian expired, you're still getting billed on the supply side by Veridian, but now on a variable market rate. And right now, we're going into a carry in the market. Central Hudson, I would probably say between November and December, prices went from low 5s, high 4s to now high 6s in a matter of 30 days. And now you see what's going on with the weather right now. And gas, wholesale gas is trading about 30% higher in 3 or 4 months. So energy pricing is going up. For you guys, your load on how you use power is probably January, February, March, maybe a little bit of April. So we have some room to do things for you guys to maybe protect you guys from pricing going to 9, 10, 11 cents. So there's a little bit of room there. Another thing I want to bring up is there was something passed with New York State and the Public Service Commission a couple of months ago for ZECs, which is a zero emission credit. So that'll be effective on everybody's bill starting April 1st, 2017. And it's basically just throw money back to motivate and sustain the nuclear generation in New York State. So now, I mean, there's a back and forth, but it's gonna be in there, and it's gonna be passed through on the supply side. The way I'm gonna be billing it to my customers is as a line item, so it's transparent. So if my prices will be all inclusive, so if I'm 7 cents a kilowatt hour, and the ZEC credit is, let's say, 0.3 of a penny, your bill will say 6.7 cents and then 3 mils underneath. Now, the utilities may bake it into one price, but just so you guys know, starting in April, everybody's bill will go higher with commercial meters. Will go higher by 3 to 3.5 mils, which is 3 to 3.5 tenths of a penny, which is a decent chunk. It's about 6 to 7%. So that's something.
What's
to
the
look
reason
at.
for that?
New York State and the Public Service Commission, it's a way to sustain the nuclear generation in New York State. It's what we need for capacity. Capacity is our biggest problem. Central Hudson has the most expensive capacity charges, or one of the most expensive capacity charges. So this was just passed, I don't know, maybe about a month and a half ago. So I can email you some PR stuff on that, so you guys can look into it a little bit more. But I do recommend, if you're still with Veridian, move maybe some of them or all of them, and I can highlight what I think should go back to Central Hudson, but I would move them back to Central Hudson because whatever Veridian's market rate is, I don't think it'll be competitive to what Central Hudson's market rate is. And that's not to say I don't want the account or I don't want to manage it, but I think sometimes there's accounts that are better off being back with the utility. And that's just in the best interest of the town or a commercial customer or something like that. And the same thing with LED lighting and solar and things like that. Solar is something I can work with Dave and make some recommendations as far as, I do solar as well. But solar is something I think you guys should definitely do. I think it'll be a home run for you guys over the long run. Any questions?
You said you could set something up for like 3 months, right? It doesn't have to be on a yearly basis.
No, it does not have to be.
And our 3 big months coming up will be January, February,
Yeah,
March.
besides the pool account and maybe 3 or 4 other accounts that I think should go back to Central Hudson. We have some, so you guys use 156,000 kilowatt hours. The pool uses about 27,000 of that just by itself, 27,000 of that. If I take away, I think 4 or 5 accounts, and I'll highlight those to you, you're still using about 110,000 kilowatt hours. So you can see those 4 or 5, you might as well stay with the utility. It's just, over the long run, it's gonna be better. The utility's been pretty decent. You know, again, you know, you have your ups and downs, but like I was telling Dave, when you fix a rate, think of it as homeowner's insurance. You're paying a premium for price protection, but if your price is too high or your premium's too high, when the market's flat and low, you're overpaying, and in the long run, it doesn't work out. So that's why you need to really, you know, customize it to how you use power and when you use power. So we do have something for 3 months. I look at it every day. I can throw out some numbers, you know, before the holidays. You know, we still got a little bit of time, because I think your meters are right in the middle of the month. Right, most of them are right in the middle of the month. I'm pretty sure it's the middle of the month, so we still got time. I mean, no matter what happens, your January power is on your February bill, but I probably wouldn't recommend a fixed rate more than 3 or 4 months for you guys. I think the rates, my numbers are in the low 7s for a fixed rate. I think Central Hudson's gonna be higher than that for the next 3 or 4 months, and then probably come back down. And it could go back up in the summer, but your load, you know, maybe you might just wanna do something for the pool in the summer. And that's a conversation we can have in the spring, but we can talk over the next week or so. I can get a little bit more defined numbers for you guys, but I just wanted to throw it out there that I'm willing to help, even if I don't take the accounts on, or you move them all back to Central Hudson. You know, I'm 5 minutes away, I have no problem. You know, Kathy referred me, so I have no problem helping you guys out, so. Questions, concerns?
Okay.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, discussions. The generator for the town hall. We put out an ad in the Poughkeepsie Journal. We had one gentleman come, and from the, I don't know, 48, 58-page spec sheet, he couldn't figure out what we wanted. It never said the size of the building. It never said the size of the generator that we were requiring. It didn't give him any information, so therefore, he wouldn't even bid on it. So we got no bids. I don't know where to go from here. Do we have to go back to put it in the paper again? In my eyes, I think that we could go buy a generator ourselves for a couple $1,000s, hire an electrician to hook it up just to make the heat work. Because honestly, that's all I'm really worried about for a generator in this building, is so the building doesn't freeze up and cause us more money. I'm at a loss with this. We had the other 3 quotes we got before we put it in the newspaper, and after we put it, like I said, we have no quotes on this. I don't know where to move from here, and I don't feel that we should just not get a generator. The weather.
The weather's telling us to.
I don't, I just don't wanna
we
freeze
better
the
do
building
something
up.
quick.
Yeah,
I went into Sheck in Poughkeepsie, and I carried the thing into him, and he
You did?
read it, and he called me back, and he said, "What do you want me to do?" He said he could send an electrician out to see what we need and put in. He said, but these specs, they don't tell us the size of the building, they don't tell us anything. It just left him completely blank.
yeah. Well,
And he was the one that did the fire district.
I guess he did both firehouses.
He did
a
both
very good job.
firehouses, and he did, he has an
We got what
electrician
we
that
needed
works,
and nothing more.
and they service everything, but, I feel we had the 3 bids before, that we
Yeah.
should take one of them and, get this done. I can't see why, we can keep the park open, but we can't keep the town hall
I'm not worried about keeping the town hall open. I am worried about the town hall freezing up.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, we had no heat Monday and Tuesday in here, and it was cold. Not nearly as cold as it is today out. I thank God we have heat today, because today I think we would have had frozen pipes. It was a wake-up call, but I just don't know what to do here. Tom,
Well, the town board did put it out for bid. You didn't receive any bids. You can now fall back on the proposals if you wanted to, since it has been bid, no bids came in. You could, whoever drew up the bid specifications, you could have them redo the bid specifications if you wanted to, more specific. But that's not gonna guarantee that you're gonna get any bids on that as well.
right, and I don't want to take that kind of time. We don't have time.
Due to the time of season it is now, it is something that's time sensitive, so it's really up to the board and how they wish to proceed on this.
I'd like to make a motion that we go with the John Poland bid. Poland Electric.
You know, we haven't had a generator here since the building was built. And my feelings are that if we're gonna do this, we should do it properly. I would like to know what size generator is required here. And,
Well, what the bid.
excuse me,
Okay.
I think that if we're gonna do this, again, that we should do it properly, have the proper size generator here with the proper size transfer switch. You know, I understand that we're in the middle of winter, but we've gotten through winters in the past. There's other methods of putting heat in the building if it becomes a necessity, that we can do this the proper way. Those bids, those quotes that we have are entirely different generators. And I don't have the knowledge here to decide which one is proper for this building. And I don't know that any of you are electricians that can determine that either.
None of us claim to be electricians
No,
to
I
determine
never said
it.
that, but
But last month, you turned around and you stated, and everybody agreed with you, we'll go with a spec sheet by the engineer, and he sent out a spec sheet. I don't know how much it costs us to get that spec sheet sent out that told the contractors absolutely nothing. 58 pages of baloney, as far as I'm concerned. When I can bring it into a company like Sheck, and they say, you're not telling us what you want. They had absolutely nothing in that to base a generator on. What he did tell me that they told him was come out, take a look, and tell us what you think you need. We had 3 people already do that.
and
Three
different
licensed
size
electricians.
generators.
Actually, 2 of them were very close in
Very
size.
close. The difference in price was because one of them was going to supply the pad for the generator. The other one said we had to supply our own pad, and that happened to be the higher price anyway. Again, I don't need a massive generator. We don't need that. We're not looking to run Greenhaven Prison. What we're looking to do is run the heat. That's all I ask, is the building doesn't get froze up. And I think that these electricians are licensed, experienced, local electricians, and George and I both explained to them what we needed, and I think the two were right on board with one another. The one may have been a little bit too large. We may not have needed all that power. I know that I run my house on a small generator. It's on wheels. I pull it out, I plug it into the side of the house. It runs my refrigerator, my well pump, and my heat. And that's all that's necessary in an emergency, in my eyes. So I don't see why we need anything more than what these licensed electricians quoted that we needed.
But I will say this, the J.P. Poland one said, the one he's recommended will run the AC system, one AC system.
Right, which we don't need, but,
Right, so it's more than we need.
so it's actually more than we need, and he is also supplying the pad and the
Okay.
work to put the pad in, the concrete, everything,
Mhm.
whereas the other one
We'd have to.
that was higher, a little bit higher, and more of a generator, we would have to supply the pad, we would have to supply
Right.
the mason, the
Mhm.
concrete, everything, to put this stuff in. So, that was one of the reasons why I suggested we go with the Poland Electric. And I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and do this generator, because time's running out and I'm
I'll
tired.
second it.
Thank you. Town board discussion? Andrea, roll call vote?
Councilman Welch,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kelly.
Yeah.
Supervisor Hopkins.
Yes.
Councilman McMorris.
Yes.
Councilman Fraser.
Abstain.
Okay. All right, we have a blanket approval list for the town of Unionville, and I know that we will be going over this at the next meeting. We would like to add 2 things to that list, so we don't have to discuss this at the next meeting. And that would be the Spain agency, who is our insurance carrier, who's not on, do you all know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
The Spain agency and Staples. Because Staples, we don't have to use a credit card to purchase any of our paper goods or office goods. They are a lot cheaper than we've been getting
yeah.
them. We did open an account with them. They send a PO, but sometimes it takes a really long time for 3 town board members to sign off on these vouchers, so I wanted to add Staples and, like I said, Spain agency to that list.
I would agree with the insurance company, but I don't know that it's a good idea to put Staples on there.
Well, I thought about that too, and then I looked at the list from, this is the same list for years and years, we approved the same one. And we have Lowe's on this list, we have Sam's Club on this list, Pitney Bowes on this list, Home Depot, Laura Ricky. So I just figured that's in the same category, so.
Do we need a motion? Or are we gonna just do this next month?
It's just kind of a discussion.
It should be done at the organizational meeting.
We're gonna do it at the organizational
Okay.
meeting, but I wanted to
All right.
have you guys look into it.
Yeah.
And
Be
I
aware.
can get everyone a list so they can look it over and just see the 2 additions and see how you feel about it before the organizational meeting. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we'll move on to resolutions and motions. Here's the first resolution, John, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, resolution authorizing sponsorship. Whereas children of the town of Unionville are permitted to play baseball and softball in LaGrange youth baseball and softball programs. And whereas in exchange for allowing children from the town of Unionville to participate in the LaGrange youth baseball and softball, the town of Unionville agrees to be a sponsor of the LaGrange youth baseball and softball. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby authorizes the town of Unionville to be a special sponsorship package for LaGrange youth baseball and softball in the amount of $750. If you look around, we have a lot of plaques over the years that we've acquired from doing this. So I want to move this motion forward that we support them for $750.
I'll second it.
Town board discussion?
I just want to repeat what I say whenever something like this comes up. The LaGrange Baseball Association is very good, but it's a nonprofit. We have lots of children in Unionville that play baseball for LaGrange or Beekman. We have kids that play soccer for LaGrange or Beekman, because these aren't things that we do ourselves. I must say I was really proud when my son was on the Beekman soccer team and we got to play in Unionville like the whole time as our home team, home field, because they have brought the fields up this year, but it is a nonprofit, so I don't feel that it's my right as your town board member to donate the money that we tax you on to donate to a nonprofit when there's no benefit for the residents. They still have to pay to be a member of the baseball team like anyone else. They can't prevent your child from playing on the baseball team if we don't do it, because it's a nonprofit agency.
Well, I feel that we should support them. They
provide a service.
They provide a service to us,
Yeah.
so.
And they're
And
paid
with
for that
the
service.
problems that we're having with today's youth, I mean, to me, it's a good thing to have them playing baseball instead of doing something different.
Yes.
I'll agree. When I was on the LaGrange board years ago, I mean, my grandchildren play on LaGrange now. It was set up in a way that everything was in districts. Unionville fell in LaGrange's district. Actually, I don't know, somebody told me that they've changed it to school districts now. But it was set up in districts so that our kids playing if they were playing in Millbrook, they couldn't play in the All-Star games or anything because they weren't in that. They were supposed to be playing down on LaGrange. I'm all in favor of, supporting the baseball. Whether it's baseball or soccer. Soccer is set up a little bit differently than baseball as far as districts go, but because this whole area is under the East Hudson Youth Soccer Association.
So I just want to be clear that not my disagreement with me taxing people from the town and then giving away their money is not support of baseball. My kids have been in local leagues and everything. I'm totally in support of local leagues, and I totally believe that kids should be involved in those things. But any Unionville resident that goes to LaGrange baseball to sign up is still going to get charged the same amount. Just because Unionville donates money to them doesn't give a break to the kid.
Sponsoring teams, it's part of their operating expense, and we're helping with the total package.
Roll call vote, Andrea?
Okay, Councilman Welsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kelly?
No.
Supervisor Tompkins?
Yeah.
Councilman Morris?
Yes?
Councilman Frazier?
Aye.
Karina?
Planning agreement.
Yep.
Resolution authorizing supervisor to execute Dutchess County Planning Agreement. Whereas New York State General Municipal Law 239 requires local municipalities to refer applications for certain planning and zoning actions to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development for review. And whereas the New York State General Municipal Law authorizes the county to enter into agreements with local municipalities in order to determine which, if any, of the local municipal actions subject to referral may be deemed strictly matters of local determination and therefore not subject to referral process. And whereas the county is proposing the following actions be eliminated from the referral and review process. A, administrative amendments. B, special use permits, use variances, area variances for residential uses. And C, renewal extensions of site plans or special permits that have no changes from previous approvals. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville authorizes the town supervisor to execute an agreement with Dutchess County regarding Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development review. And be it further resolved that a copy of the fully executed agreement shall be kept on file in the office of the town clerk.
Second.
I will second the motion.
Yeah.
Town board discussion? Roll call vote?
Councilman Welch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Supervisor Tompkins?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Yes?
Councilman Frazier?
Aye.
Resolution accepting 2017 highway material bids. Whereas pursuant to Section 103 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York, which requires that all expenditures for materials which exceed $20,000 be awarded to the lowest responsible bidder, and whereas the town clerk of the town of Unionville has published proper notice for the solicitation of bids in the official newspaper of the Town of Unionville for the purchase of materials for use of the Town of Unionville Highway Department for 2017, and whereas bids were received by the Town Clerk of the Town of Unionville, and whereas it has been determined that the attached lists are the lowest responsible bidders under the general municipal law, therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby accepts the bids of the following bidders as attached hereto and made part hereto of in the amount stated for the materials needed for the operation of the Town of Unionville Highway Department for the year 2017.
Second.
Town board discussion? I just want to let everyone know that even though we accepted our own bids, we can piggyback off of the state and the county and other municipalities. But the state and the county bids are really only safety nets. And that's what they're put in place for. That's why we do our own bidding. And all the bids are due to lower pricing and location. So that's why we chose all the different bids.
Nothing like competition to get lower prices.
So roll call vote, Andrea?
Councilman Walsh?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kelly? Supervisor Thompson?
Aye.
Councilman LaForest?
Aye.
Councilman Frazier?
Aye.
Okay, Mark Molinaro has requested that the town passes a resolution to participate in the Think Differently campaign, a county-wide initiative to give persons with disabilities greater access and inclusion to their communities. We are currently involved in projects that will increase accessibility and inclusion to our town, including working with the Inclusive Recreation Resource Center to provide inclusive mentoring to our camp counselors and writing grants to promote inclusion in our parks and recreation programming. Passing this resolution gives recognition to the importance of this work and holds us accountable to continuing it. So Dave, do you want to read the resolution?
Whereas the Think Differently incentive is about promoting awareness and acceptance of all people and advocating for the inclusion of all individuals with varying abilities. Whereas our state and communities are stronger because of our diversity and difference, and whereas according to the Center for Disease Control, over 55 million people, or approximately 19% of Americans, have a type of disability or special need, and whereas for some people with special needs, the very things that make them unique can also keep them on the sidelines, separate from those who might not understand their differences or uniqueness, and whereas it is important to promote and provide guidance to those with special needs on how to access publicly supported services available to them in the community, and whereas it is important to encourage and educate the community and businesses on ways to make their facilities and services more accessible, and how to train staff to welcome and support special needs customers and coworkers, and whereas the goal of this incentive is to provide a supportive and inclusive environment for individuals of all abilities by supporting community events that expand family-friendly opportunities for people with special needs and their families, and whereas adopting the Think Differently incentive is an important statement that our town, village, city officials, business owners, and residents can make to show their support for the differently abled children and adults with special needs and their families. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Unionville residents and business owners adopt Think Differently incentive so that all are better prepared to communicate with, provide for, and support all individuals of varying abilities.
I second.
Town board discussion?
I think it's a nice resolution, and I'm looking forward to us passing it.
Roll call vote?
Councilman Walsh?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Supervisor Tompkins?
Aye.
Councilman
Aye.
Councilman Frazier.
Aye.
Steve?
Following resolution was offered and seconded. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby authorizes the payment of all general funds claims and highway fund vouchers as set forth in the abstract number 12 of 2016, which is available in the town clerk's office, and authorize the town supervisor to make all payments. The question of the adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly put to a vote on roll call, which resulted as follows.
I'll second. Town board discussion? Roll call vote?
Councilman Welch?
Aye.
Councilwoman Todd?
Yes.
Supervisor Tompkins?
Aye.
Councilman McMorris?
Yes.
Councilman Frazier?
Aye.
Looks like we're gonna pay the bills, huh?
Okay, I do not have a resolution for the approval of the intermunicipal agreement for the highway department.
I do.
You do, okay. All right, you can read it.
I don't have the title, but that is what the title is. Resolution authorizing supervisor to execute change order of intermunicipal agreement for highway department. Whereas Dutchess County Department of Public Works has requested a change order extension of the intermunicipal agreement for the provision of snow removal and ice contract services be executed, and whereas the change order shall allow for 2 one-year extensions upon mutual consent of both parties when the original agreement expires on September 30th of 2017. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby authorizes the town supervisor to execute the Dutchess County Department of Public Works change order for a term change for snow removal and ice control services.
I'll second it.
Town board discussion?
Do we have the option to back out of this if it proves not to be?
Yeah,
You know,
This,
the original agreement runs till September of
Right.
2017, and then the board can revisit the situation.
Okay,
And you could renew it for 2 additional years under this amendment, but it would have to be with the mutual consent of both Dutchess County as well as the town board.
gotcha.
So it could definitely be revisited when the original term expires in September.
this is not the pilot program,
No, I understand
This is
that, I
our-
understand that, I just,
and I discussed it with Mr. Wisman
right,
quite a few times, and,
I just wanted, I wanted to make sure I understood the verbiage here.
I think the amendment, I don't want to misquote, I had read the contract earlier in the week. Originally it was for a 5-year extension term, so now it's going to be just 2 one-year extension terms with mutual
And they will be
consent.
visited in each year.
yes.
Okay.
Roll call vote, Andrea?
Councilman Welch?
Aye.
Councilman Todd? Yes. Supervisor Tompkins?
Aye.
Councilman McMorris?
Yes.
Councilman Frazier?
Aye.
Okay, and now we'll have public comments on non-agenda items.
If I can bring up just one thing, we listened to Dave Menace before, and he was talking about the contracts for, possibly getting a contract for 3 months. When I had spoken to him last week or the week before, I forget which it was, he felt that he could get us the power for the 3 months, probably in the neighborhood of 7 cents to 7.2 cents. He thinks he might even be able to get it for less than 7 cents per kilowatt hour, which is almost 2 cents kilowatt hour less than what we're paying right now. If he can get us that price, I'd like to recommend that we go with him for the 3 months, and then we can see where we're going with solar and everything else, and he does advise on that as well. And he doesn't charge us for that. He's paid for by Blue Rock, is it?
Blue Rock, yeah.
Blue Rock.
Well, we can't vote on something tonight that we don't have any definite answers on. He thinks he can get it for this, and he thinks he can get it for that.
Yeah, he didn't wanna commit himself.
Yeah.
Until we see actual numbers, we can't really vote on it.
Right. Maybe he'll have them by our January 5th meeting.
Yeah, the way I
And
understood it
then-
is he's gonna put something together for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
That's what I
mean,
understood
So if he
too.
can
I was
get it by
going by
then,
what he had put together, but,
But he can't guarantee
But
that.
it's not
Right.
committed.
It was just a thought from him.
Mhm.
Conceptual.
So until he comes
Yeah,
back to
that's
us,
That's good.
okay.
I really don't feel we could vote on that
Yeah,
until,
we need something in writing,
Yeah.
like firm.
but we
Dave, you're on the right
definitely
path
want to
here.
consider
Huh?
it.
You're certainly on the right path. We
Yeah.
appreciate all
Well,
the,
I mean, I was just
legwork.
thinking that if he turns, because I'd be afraid of getting this started too late and then end up having the January readings going at the 10 cents, when we might have been able to get it at 7.
Oh, I agree, but we have nothing.
I agree,
If
we
you give it to us
exactly.
at 7.2
We
cents
can't-
a
We can't
kilowatt
raise
hour.
it.
I can't just,
We have to wait till he comes back with
Yeah.
something in writing.
Yep.
okay, Elfrida?
Yes. Let's hope not.
All right, it's just only me, Tillman, Shaughnessy Road. For years, we saw a big red machine out back here. It had been donated. It was supposed to be a generator, so we had a generator on the grounds, but it was unable to be hooked up into this building. It sat and sat and sat. Finally, Steve, you initiated getting rid of it, which is nice, it's gone, but we still don't have anything. When Supervisor Tompkins came into office last year, we had a power outage. She schlepped a generator down here to at least keep the building from the water here in this area, wherever you had enough power on. Thank you, Patty, for saving the building. But now I must go back in history. And I don't remember the exact year because I'm ancient, but it was around 2007 or something. A member of the town board, Tom Farmer, shepherded a project in which he got a big generator put in down at the park, obviously with the okay of the board, but he did the work himself. He got all the details, he was there, he brought in these giant machines and so on, got that generator set up, and a water reservoir, 8,000 gallons of
Yeah, for
water?
the sprinkler system.
Yes. So all of this was put in down in the big barn so that if we have a major disaster here in this town, there would be a place for people to go. Because we learned, much to our dismay, that the firehouses will not be places of respite should we have a problem. Unlike, when was the big storm, John? And we
Which
had
one?
people in Station 2.
87? 1987.
That was
That
that October storm.
Snowstorm in October.
Okay,
October
we had
4th.
people living in, thank God,
Yeah.
everybody was friendly then, and it worked out
We got
well.
to know each other pretty well.
Ellen, come up here, please. No, wait a minute, no, it wasn't you.
You're
Which
safe,
sister?
you're safe.
Which sister was the baby? Sarah, okay. Ellen, who's one of our AV people, has a much older, a little bit older sister. She was a brand-new baby when we had that storm. So Mom, Dad, and that brand-new baby lived in the firehouse for a couple of 3 weeks. I don't even know. But
It was 7 days.
less than 2 or 3 weeks. What do I care? But it was much more friendly then, and not so friendly now. But again, I have to give big credit to Tom Farmer for getting that set up. And let me mention also, because this is my time, shortly after he got this whole thing put together, we had a storm. I think it was a hurricane. Power outage here, but because of the generator that he got going down there, Dave, did you take somebody took the equipment down, and the town board was able to run its meeting down there because there was a generator to run all the electrical stuff. I'm assuming it was you, because you're the only guys who've been doing this forever. So thank you, everybody, and I will leave you now. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. The lights are lovely, come see. It's not as much as at the Gay House over there on Patrick and Darren, but our park has nice, colorful lights. Anything else we want to say about it? And she's got very high heels on.
Thank you, Elfrida.
Thank you, Elfrida.
Anytime, I have lots to say.
Next town board meeting is January 5th, 2017. It's the organizational meeting, and I wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and
And a generator in here real fast.
a generator in here real fast, and a good night, and make a
Stay
motion
warm
to adjourn.
tonight.
So moved.